It's a secret code to understanding human behavior. Today, we're uncovering 10 surprising psychology tricks that can subtly influence your decisions, behavior, and relationships. Get ready to see the world in a whole new light because things are about to get seriously interesting. Have you ever had a song stuck in your head, but only a snippet of it? That, my friends, is the Zigic Effect in action. It's this weird quirk of our brains where we remember unfinished tasks way better than completed ones. Think about it, that one nagging chore you've been putting off? Yeah, it's taking up way more mental space than the 10 things you already crossed off your to-do list. Break down big, daunting tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks. As you complete each mini-task, you get a little hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical in your brain. So, next time you're facing a monster of a task, remember the Zigic Effect and break it down. Alright, let's talk first impressions. You know how it is. You meet someone new and instantly, you're sizing them up. But what you might not realize is that your brain is playing this sneaky little game called the halo effect. Basically, if someone makes a good first impression, our brains tend to give them a free pass on other stuff. It's like, oh, they have a nice smile and a firm handshake? They must be intelligent, trustworthy, and an all-around amazing person. Imagine this. You're at a party, and you meet someone who's super charming and funny. Now, let's say you find out later they're a bit messy or disorganized. Chances are, because of that initial positive impression, you're more likely to brush those flaws aside. So next time you find yourself instantly liking or disliking someone, take a step back and try to see them for who they really are. Okay, this next one is seriously counterintuitive. You'd think that doing nice things for people would make them like you more, right? Well, buckle up, because the Benjamin Franklin effect says otherwise. This psychological trick suggests that when you ask someone for a favor, it can actually make them like you more. When you ask someone for help, you're subtly complimenting them. You're saying, hey, I value your opinion or skills. Plus, when someone does you a favor, their brain tries to justify why they did it. They think, well, I must like this person if I'm going out of my way to help them. Now, I'm not saying you should go around asking everyone for favors just to manipulate them. But if you need help with something, don't be afraid to ask. You might be surprised at how willing people are to lend a hand. Have you ever noticed how as soon as someone tells you to do something, it suddenly becomes way more appealing? Like, don't press that big red button. That, my friends, is reactant theory in all its glory. Deep down, we all have this primal need to feel in control, like we have the freedom to make our own choices. So, when that freedom is threatened, even in a small way, we instinctively rebel. Marketers use this all the time. Ever seen those limited-time offer signs? They're banking on your fear of missing out to make you buy something you might not even need. And let's not forget about reverse psychology. Tell a kid they have a cookie, and suddenly it's the most desirable cookie in the world. If you're trying to persuade someone, try a gentler approach. Instead of saying, you have to do this, try, have you considered this? Alright, let's talk about the power of belief. I'm talking about the Pygmalion effect, which basically says that our expectations of others can actually influence their performance. Think about it. If you have a teacher who believes in you, who sees your potential, even when you doubt yourself, you're more likely to rise to the occasion. It's like their belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But here's the kicker. It works both ways. If someone has low expectations of you, you might unconsciously start living down to those expectations. The Pygmalion effect is a powerful reminder that our words and actions have a huge impact on others. So, be mindful of the expectations you set, both for yourself and those around you, because believing in someone can make all the difference in the world. Okay, This next one is for anyone who's ever felt like they have to be perfect all the time. Newsflash, you don't. In fact, making a small mistake can actually make you more relatable and likable. It's called the pratfall effect, and it's here to take the pressure off. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone super competent and put together trip and fall, or spill coffee on themselves? Those little blunders can actually make them seem more human, more approachable. It's like, oh, they mess up sometimes too? They're just like me. And relatability is the key to building trust and connection. So, next time you make a mistake, don't beat yourself up about it. Own it, laugh it off, and move on. We live in a world of endless choices. Want a coffee? There are a million different flavors, sizes, and milk options. Looking for a new pair of jeans? Good luck choosing from the hundreds of styles and washes. But here's the thing. Too much choice can actually be paralyzing. It's called choice paralysis, and it's the enemy of decision-making. Think about it. You're at a restaurant staring at a menu the size of a textbook. You agonize over every option, trying to make the perfect choice. But instead of feeling excited, you end up feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and maybe even a little regretful before you've even taken a bite. The solution? Simplify, simplify, simplify. Narrow down your options, set some criteria for yourself, and don't be afraid to go with your gut. Okay, let's talk about that feeling we all get sometimes. That everyone is watching our every move, judging our every outfit choice, and analyzing our every word. It's called the spotlight effect, and it's basically our brains tricking us into thinking we're way more noticeable than we actually are. Think about it. You're walking down the street and you trip and fall. It happens to the best of us. You're mortified, convinced that everyone saw you and is secretly laughing at you. But here's the reality. Most people are so caught up in their own heads, their own worries and insecurities, that they probably didn't even notice. The spotlight effect is a powerful illusion, but it's important to remember that it's just that, an illusion. So take a deep breath, relax, and let go of that self-consciousness. Ever wonder why stores put those crazy expensive items right at the front? It's not because they actually think anyone will buy them. It's because of something called anchoring bias, and it's sneakily influencing your spending habits. Here's the deal. Our brains latch on to the first piece of information we get, even if it's totally irrelevant. So if you see a $10,000 handbag when you walk into a store, suddenly that $500 handbag doesn't seem so bad. Your perception of what's expensive has been skewed by that initial anchor price. And it's not just about money. Anchoring bias can influence everything from salary negotiations to first impressions. The key is to be aware of anchoring bias and to question your assumptions. All right, let's talk about FOMO, the fear of missing out. In the age of social media, it's everywhere. You scroll through Instagram and everyone seems to be living their best life, traveling to exotic locations, eating at fancy restaurants, and generally having way more fun than you. And what happens? You start to feel inadequate, envious, and like you're somehow missing out on something. But here's the thing. Social media is a highlight reel. People only post the good stuff, the curated moments that make their lives seem perfect. Don't let FOMO trick you into comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Instead of focusing on what you're missing out on, focus on what you have: your health, your loved ones, your passions. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today. From the Zigic Effect to FOMO, we've explored some of the weird and wonderful ways our brains work. Out of all the tricks we've covered, which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Understanding these tricks can help you become more aware of how your mind works and how others might try to influence you. Remember, knowledge is power. So stay aware, stay in control, and keep exploring the fascinating world of psychology. If you enjoyed learning about these psychology tricks, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share this video with a friend.